It was one of those moments filled with hope. Things were just starting to look up for Jorge. And then, the thing with the TV happened. He just moved to a new town, started his life over, found some work, got a place. Years of searching around, of vagueness, were ending.
It's going well. Like, the way that I'm procrastinating now is by, like, doing work, you know? You know, I'm coming into my own. Like, I feel good. I'm paying bills relatively on time.
He'd moved to New York City, which was scary, and lucked into an apartment that real New Yorkers told him was a find. A little studio in the East Village. One room, good location, cheap. And then one night he's sitting at his table, watching The Bachelorette on TV. And The Bachelorette at the time is this huge show, this brand new concept, big reality TV hit. This woman meeting 20 men, going on dates with them, eliminating another one each week. And it's the episode where The Bachelorette has whittled it down to just 4 guys. She's going to pick one from eventually. And she's in New York City, visiting one of the potentials.
And, you know, so he goes out to dinner with his family, and they're, you know, they eat, and, you know, they've got the shifty-eyed sister, and, you know, like, everybody's family acts the exact same way, you know?
Right.
And then they get in the limousine, and they decide to go back to his apartment. Now I'm on the edge of my seat, because, you know, I moved to New York. Like, it's an enormous city, and I would be so excited if I could recognize a street. I would be so excited. It would just make me so happy. And so I'm totally excited. So they get out of the limo, and he hugs her in the street, and they pan, and they show a building. They show an awning. And it's my awning.
It's your building.
It's my building. It's the awning to my building. It says the address. It says the street. It's, you know, it's possibly the only place in New York I actually know. You know what I mean? and then he opens the door, and she comes in, and it's my lobby. You know, there's my lobby. There's the row of mailboxes. You know, and I'm just like I'm out of my chair, and I can't talk. I'm like, you know, like pointing at the TV.
Like, and if it were me, I would think, like, are they here right now, like in the building?
You're too smart. I mean, I couldn't think. I was just like, you know, it was, you know what I mean? I was just like, it was, you know, I was just flabbergasted. It just couldn't be happening, you know?
He watches them take the elevator up to the 4th floor. Jorge lives on the 5th. They walk down the hall to a door. And then Jorge realizes something else.
You know, he doesn't just live in the city as me. He doesn't live on the same street as me. He doesn't just live in the same building as me. He basically lives in my apartment. He lives in the exact same apartment. It's the exact same layout.
So basically, so the camera goes inside this apartment, and you see your apartment, basically.
A much better version of my apartment. His is much better. The walls are whiter. The place is cleaner. The furniture is nicer. He has a half wall. Like, he's got a half wall.
A half wall with them brick glass blocks.
It's like drywall, you know. But it seems like it has like some sort of like countertop kind of thing on it.
And at that moment, Jorge gets this flash. He is not really doing all that well. His apartment is a kind of dump compared to this guy who's on TV. Plus, he's watching Trista Wren, the Bachelorette, on TV, looking uncomfortable in his apartment on national TV. In fact, she bails on the guy.
She leaves the apartment, and they cut to like that head-on interview.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she's just looking into the camera, and she says, I've dated guys with really bad apartments before. I can't judge him on that. I have to find out why he feels like he can live in an apartment like this.
She ditched him because of the apartment?
Yeah.
Wait, he lost out on The Bachelorette because of the apartment?
Oh, yeah.
And it was your apartment?
But better.
Over the next few days, it all sort of goes to hell for Jorge. He's depressed. His new life does not seem so shiny. His New York friends console him. Look, they say, the Bachelorette had never seen a New York apartment before. She does not know how people here live. This means nothing. Which helps him for a while, until one day, Jorge picks up the New York Post, and right there is an article about his neighbor, Todman, the guy from the Bachelorette, getting busted for cocaine.
Third paragraph. Todman's fate on The Bachelorette was sealed the moment Wren set foot in his squalid Avenue A studio apartment. Do you understand the weight of that? Squalid. Squalid Avenue A studio apartment.
So this isn't just like people from outside New York.
This is the New York Post. Nobody knows New York apartments like the New York Post. These guys have been in the most squalid New York City apartments. It's squalid, you know? It's squalid. Squalid, squalid. You know, there's not that many definitions for squalid. There's not many ways to look at the word squalid and think,
maybe they mean
kind of hip, you know? You know?
Somehow, without ever meaning to, Jorge had the experience that a person would have if he actually went on to one of the reality shows and then got booted off the show. National television came into his apartment and then kicked him off the island by proxy. He was like collateral damage to a reality show.
You know, I didn't want America to judge me and tell me my apartment sucked, you know? I didn't want that, but at that moment when I was, you know, when they came into my building and they opened that door and it was my apartment, I thought I was, you know, I thought that I was hot. I thought that it was, you know.
Yeah.
That's, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, boo, boo, boo. You know?
What was it?
Boo, 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 boo. You lose, you know?
Jorge says that it would not have been such a kick in the stomach if he hadn't gotten his hopes up in the first place. About his great new life, his great new apartment. Hope is dangerous. Hope makes you vulnerable. You can be disappointed, you can fail, there is a lot to be scared of. In that way, stories of hope and stories of fear have a lot in common. Your heart's right out there, ready to be crushed, in both kinds of stories. The stakes are high, and what happens next, you usually can't predict at all.